Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. And if this is your first time here, welcome. This is Essential Patience and I am Patience. In today's video, we'll be discussing an article that I read in Yahoo Finance. And Yahoo Finance is something that I typically engage with, and if you don't know what it is, I suggest you read it. Things dealing with finance, I think it's really fun, and then you get to read all the crazy comments, so that's more added layer of fun. We're going to go right through, but before we do, remember to like this video if you've not already and subscribe. So let's get straight into this article. So what definitely got my attention for this article was the title, which states that here's the average salary each generation says they need to feel financially healthy. In fact, the article goes in to say that over 4 in 10 Americans feel that they are not financially healthy. And the term specifically used was financially unhealthy. I had never heard about this. So what being financially unhealthy means is that you're not where you are financially, whether it's with salary, savings. Now we know that over 40% feel they are financially unhealthy, which you may think 60% says they're financially healthy and they don't really break it down that much, but I'm thinking there's like a middle section where they feel like they're okay, because I just don't believe that 60% of Americans believe they're financially healthy, especially since we did a deep dive in my Stats Digest video on emergency fund, where we found out that over half of Americans can't cover $1,000 emergency. We're going to go through 4 generations because Generation Alpha is basically too young to ask them anything. I think that's the next generation. So this is the amount each generation on average said they need to feel financially healthy. Let's start with the baby boomers, which for some reason I feel like they were the most realistic ones. So on average, the baby boomers said they needed to earn about $78,000, $317 to feel comfortable. And this is really interesting because a lot of baby boomers are either in retirement or closer to the age of retirement, but knowing that wages used to be much less back when they were younger, this probably influenced their number. Going on to the next one, which was Gen Xers, they said on average they went straight for the 6 figures because it is $112,222 for them to feel financially healthy. This is drastically higher than the baby boomers, but even more was millennials. They said on average $133,750 to feel financially healthy. And Gen Zers just took the whole thing and wrapped it up. They need a whopping $171,633. Now I know inflation happened, things are just more expensive. Rent is high, cars are high, everything is high. But with that salary that Gen Zers shows, I'm a Gen Zer, it would definitely make me feel comfortable anywhere in America, even San Francisco. And I think a lot of lived experience and what is going on now really informs how people feel about it, because a lot of baby boomers probably have a lot in retirements compared to everybody else, and they're closer to retirement. They probably own their homes and it's either paid for or close to paid off. And housing is one of the biggest costs of living. It takes up a big chunk of people's salaries. So if you already own a home, which you've locked in a nice 30-year mortgage at a fixed interest rate, and the mortgage has not increased since you got it, like that's a way you feel very comfortable because you are in a comfortable position. So you don't need to earn as much to live in a house that is almost paid for or you've already paid for it, versus the other generations like the millennials and the Gen Zers, which a lot of them are not homeowners. A lot of them have come into the economy of very high prices. Rent is astronomical in an all-time high. A lot of them also have student loan debt, which is what I wanted to touch on, because this may seem kind of delusional to some people and be like, most Gen Zers are under the age of 26 and here they want to be making $171,000. But when you realize that a lot of them are stuck in student loan debt, they're probably factoring in debt payments into their salary, which makes a lot of sense. Just to know that a lot of older people probably live in lower cost areas versus millennials and Gen Zers who live in really big cities. And a lot of young people just tend to be the majority in a population of cities in high cost areas, because that's where a lot of tech jobs are and that's where a lot of new opportunities are booming. A lot of them are living in high cost areas. Remember, this is about being comfortable. to afford the rent comfortably, to live comfortably, to pay for the car, to be able to save for a house, probably save for future children. It just seems to take a lot more. So I think that is where that number is coming from, as well as it's gonna take more to retire in the future than for the baby boomers who are retiring now, because the economy is always increasing and rising. But let's move on to the next part, which is how much they felt they need to save, because this part is shocking. In fact, baby boomers had the highest, which I think just calls to the fact that they are closer to retirement. They said on average $764,999. Take into consideration, a lot of them are either in retirement or getting close to retirement or planning to retire soon. So here it is with a bigger number, because they're gonna need more quicker than everybody else. Gen Xers said $566,975. And you can see it is still a lot, but Gen Xers have more time before they retire. They don't need to stash away as much money now versus baby boomers. And this is reflected in millennials, who said $349,784. Now the question wasn't exactly clear, but as you can see, as the generations get younger, the numbers get smaller, because Gen Zers said $105,299. Now I didn't get a clear answer if this was for retirement, because I don't think there's anybody who think they can retire on $100,000 in the United States of America. Not even in the middle of Idaho, I don't think. Not even in Ohio, and definitely not in Texas, because people act like Texas is like dirt cheap. Where? So you can see that that's very different. But again, the question wasn't clear. So I don't know if they said for retirement or just stashed away, because if you ask me how much I need stashed away for an emergency fund, that answer will be very different from if you ask me how much do I think I need to save for retirement, because those are two different things, right? Or to buy a house, or to buy a car, or for the next 10 years, for the next 20, 30, 40 years, my answers would differ. So this article goes on to talk about what you need to do, whether you meet your salary expectations or you don't. So what they said is to deal with the immediate first, which they were talking about a lot of high interest debts. So that includes credit cards, student loans. So making sure that you clear them, and that it's not just about how much you make, which is very important. How much you make is important. People act like it's not. It is important. What you do with the money that you make, how you budget it, how you spend it, how you manage it is more important than sometimes even how much you make. I wouldn't say that it's better to make less. You will never hear me say that. But what you would hear me say is that managing your money is always the best way to go. Making sure you manage it while you budget, you save for the future. Even at my young age, I still talk about retirement, because I know and pray that that's something that I'm going to get to experience. They always tell you to plan for the future, because it is said that you need about $1.25 million to retire comfortably. I don't think that would be for us in the future, because if $8 is what a dozen eggs cost today, I mean, $1.2 million may just not be enough. Of course, this depends. If you own your own house, a reliable vehicle, that would probably help ease the burden. But overall, I assume you're probably going to need closer to $2 million, if not more. And of course, it always depends on how much you plan on spending during retirement. If you just plan on staying home, walking around once in a while, going to the community center, coming back, you're probably going to need less than a person who plans on flying all around the country, traveling, excursions, living up the life, joining all kinds of different clubs, spending money everywhere. But just in case, remember, you rather have and not need than need and not have. But one of my favorite parts, as I said, is the comments. They always get very interesting, and I feel like a lot of people in these comments are probably much older. So let's see and try to understand some of their comments. This comment says, Gen Z is only just entering the workforce. Their expectations will come down once they see the available salaries and actual net worth. Okay, so if I do read something with like grammatical errors, it's probably not me. I'm just reading what a person's saying. This is probably true, because some Gen Zers have not even entered the workforce. Some are still in college, you know, some are about to start college. So overall, I can say that this is partially true. It depends on where you live and what career field you are in. Some career fields do have high salaries. I don't know if starting salaries at $170,000. I think a mid-career, you could get there. And that's something else I wish they had talked about, whether it was early career or mid-career or like late in the career. Like, what's your goal once you've been working your field for 20 years? You know, I think $170,000 is very realistic then. Is it? Let me know. Somebody also said, Gen Z apparently has no idea how long it takes to get a job that pays that much. And most people never achieve that. It's more feasible in a dual income household. But even then, that expectation defies the median salary in the United States. And that is very true. The median individual income in the United States is about $40,000, which means 50% of people are making under $40,000 on their own. And that's why the average and median household income is less than $70,000. So $170,000 is much more. That is more than 4 times the median individual income. I agree with this person. They just say with a bunch of anger, but I do see where they're coming from. This next comment said, I'm a hiring manager. They want $80K right out of college with no real world experience, especially liberal arts majors. They want organizations to cater to their needs. They all expect to be running the company in less than 5 years. I mean, I've definitely seen that in engineering, that nobody's going to trust you with your multi-billion-dollar system or multi-million-dollar system in the hands of a college student. I mean, I wouldn't trust that. So I don't think every Gen Zer or everybody straight out of college is expecting this as much. But if I was gonna move to California, especially a city in California, I definitely wouldn't move there for less than 100 grand. That's honest. I really wouldn't. Because why would I do that to myself? Because the cost of living is so high. So I think depending on the city, 80K is not bad to ask. If you're moving to New York City, you should be asking for 80K and above. But depending on the job too, you want to make sure you're researching that, right? What's the job market value of your skills? That's something to consider. So this next comment says, sounds about right. $86 an hour is what the younger generation rates themselves. In reality, about $12 an hour is what they average. Do you see the complete disconnection from reality? I definitely don't think I want to continue reading all of this comment, but I don't think it's just disconnect. I think a lot of people are just asking for a lot more, and it doesn't make everybody entitled, but I do see the point there. And this comment says, I don't know any boomers who felt financially healthy at the age of the Gen Zers. We had to start out probably less than they have now. The difference is that we expected to work for financial security. We never expected it to be handed to us. And I think this is just a blatant comment from older generations, and they feel like all the younger generations are entitled, but that's not true. There are a lot of poor kids out here. I think sometimes it's very disconnected when they think, or even people our age thinks everybody is entitled, but there are literally poverty around here. You really think people in the projects are being entitled when they want just a fair chance at life? Everybody is not entitled. Everybody's not asking for this amount. I definitely wasn't asking for that amount straight out of college. You can't put everybody in the same bracket because, again, not everybody is at this level. And this is the next comment, which says, a more important question that wasn't asked is, what do you believe it means to be financially healthy? And this is very, very important because a lot of psychologists will tell you that different people have different thoughts about just different concepts. Even if it's like a tree, different people see different pictures in your mind. When I said that, everybody wasn't thinking the exact same tree. It's nice to ask people to see where they're coming from. This can very much mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And this is the last comment I'm going to read, which says, if you require a 6-digit salary to live comfortably, then you need to lower your expectations and cut your spending. If you're willing to work yourself to death just to obtain material things to impress other people, then I guess go for it. And then there's a response that says, depending on where you live, 100K in New York or California is just scrapping by. In the Midwest, it's good money. And I think that is very important. There are 2 more, which it says, good reason not to live near either coast. And someone said, I'm in the Midwest and I get by fine on just 1/3 of that. So in total, we can just agree that nobody's going to agree on what it means to be financially healthy. And everybody just had different thoughts. And everybody's just jumping on the Gen Zers. But I don't know any Gen Zers who said this. If you do, let me know. And with that, I'm bringing this video to an end. Let me know in the comment section, how much do you require, or how much do you think you want to earn to be financially healthy? And what do you think financially healthy means? I'll definitely be interested to read them and respond to your comments. So thank you for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and ring the notification bell if you haven't already, because I post 2 videos a week on Tuesdays and Fridays. Come over and see what we're talking about. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!